and welcome to a very special edition of Inside Africa. I'm Aisha Sasay. A celebration of the power of music to change lives. 25 years ago, a young man from Vancouver in Canada found himself in the middle of Uganda's civil war. Everywhere, children were suffering. Thousands were homeless orphans. Inspired by one little boy singing, this young man had an idea. The sound of Africa on the other side of the world. The African Children's Choir performs at a gala in Vancouver. Joined by Bob Geldof, Michael McDonald, Paul Rogers and other music greats. For these children, the climax of an incredible journey. One that began far from the bright lights and glamour of this stage. These are the slums of Kampala, capital of Uganda. Opportunity rarely smiles here, but the children do.
My name is Stella. I'm 8 years old. We are in Kolovi. This is where I come from. There are 7 of us.
A few streets away lives a young boy.
My name is Dana. This is my home, and I'm 10 years old.
His mother lies sick in their darkened shack.
Hello, I am Janat's mom, and I have malaria. My husband died. He left me with 5 children.
The stories of Stella and Jonah are the stories of millions of children in Africa. The cycle of poverty and disease seem inescapable. The chance of anything beyond a basic education slim to non-existent. The prospect of escaping a life in the slums almost unthinkable. Unless you can sing your way to a better life. And thanks to one man, Stella and Jonah and hundreds of Africa's poorest kids have the opportunity to do just that. Ray Barnett has spent much of his adult life in Africa, but it was a moment of chance back in 1984 that brought him here.
I was home in Vancouver, Canada on a break, and I'd been listening to the news and the radio in my car, and I'd heard that 150,000 children were starving to death in northern Uganda.
Civil war racked the country. The murderous regime of Idi Amin had collapsed, but guerrillas were fighting to overthrow the man who had ousted him, Milton Obote. Barnett assembled a small team and came to Uganda in 1984.
We were doing some research, and a mother of a small boy asked us if we would give her son a ride to the next village where we were going past that. And the little boy just sang for us the whole way. And one of my associates recorded an old-fashioned cassette recorder, and it kept us going for days. I thought, if that child singing just in the car can do that for me, think of what that would do for the rest of the world. Then we weren't to know the full impact.
And so the African Children's Choir was born in the middle of a civil war. The first group had to be almost smuggled out before the violence made it impossible to get out of Uganda. In September 1984, the choir performed for the first time in Vancouver, Barnett's home city. The African Children's Choir soon evolved into Music for Life, helping educate some of Africa's poorest children in Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda and South Africa. They're also active in Sudan, Ghana and Nigeria. Sally France has been with the choir ever since it started.
When we go out and select children to be part of the choir, we're selecting children from needy backgrounds. They're not necessarily orphans. They maybe even have both parents, but maybe one parent is not around, or one parent is sick, or neither parents are working. The children come from very poor backgrounds. Often you're talking about a room that would be about 10 foot by 12 foot, and you will have a whole family, sometimes even 2 families living in that room. Often the children will only be eating 1 meal a day. They can very often not afford to go to school.
But with training and schooling, the children are transformed.
Once we've selected them, we bring them together and we train them sometimes for a period of between 4 to 5 months. and they do singing, dancing and schooling. Even during that time, the change in the children is incredible. Their confidence just blossoms. We try and look at their academic potential as opposed to necessarily what they've studied in school, because some of them will have gone to very poor schools or will have had gaps in their education.
But the selection process is rigorous. Out of the thousands who want to join the choir, only a handful will be successful. Mike Gathinji runs the Kenya program for Music for Life.
We do the audition, we get the children and narrow them down to about 40. We bring them into our center in Nairobi and just let the kids be kids. And out of that selection weekend, we call it, we'll be able to know which children will make it. Out of the 40, we might end up getting 20 or 25 who will eventually make the choir.
And this year, 2 small children from Kampala find out they have made it and begin to dream.
America will be good. I don't think they have houses like this. I'm excited to go to America. It's going to be good.
And they'll be following in the footsteps of some remarkable people.
I think there is hope for Africa, but the hope for Africa is not going to come through donations. The hope for Africa is going to come through people like us.
I have gone through so many things. I have a law degree, I have a family that cares, and I have the African Children's Choir, which is like my second family.
Up next, we'll hear 2 success stories from former choir members.